I'm in my 2004 GMC Yukon and have kind of a rough idle, hesitates, and intermittently there's a lack of power. Sometimes when you gun it, there'll be hesitation, and when I put in my tester, it said that it was due to misfire, multiple misfires, but also misfire specifically on cylinder number 3. So I think it presents as a P303 when you use your tester. So today we're just going to be replacing the fuel injector for just that cylinder. And there are ways of kind of ruling out to make sure it is the fuel injector. Like you can, if you think number 3 is a problem, you can disconnect the electrical piece from right here. The camera will lock in on that right there. And when you disconnect that, if the idle stays the same, there's no change, then you know that this injector is probably sticking, or it's just worn out and needs to be replaced. So I would recommend you get the AC Delco. I think is probably going to be the best brand to go with, because that's the original type. And we're going to go over how to just change this out for cylinder number 3. But while you're there, we'll cover also how to just replace it.
Fuel rail. This is the crossover pipe right here. Here's another fuel rail, crossover pipe. And when you want to remove the fuel injectors, it's best to take out this fuel rail, and the crossover pipe all as one unit. But if you want to take out just this fuel rail by itself, you have to remove this crossover pipe from the top of the fuel rail right here. To do that, you need Torx 15-bit to go into this screw to take it out.
All right, let's get the truck started. Now we're going to pull out the fuel pump relay, and that's going to starve the fuel system of any fuel. This is the one. So just look at our chart here. We're looking for the fuel pump. It's going to be this big one right here, and right above it is a 15 amp. So let's see if we can find that. Looking in there, we got 15 amp above it. So this will be the one for the fuel pump. You're just going to wiggle that, lift it out, and then you can hear the engine's going to start to stumble. And that way it just burned up all the fuel and took the pressure out. Okay, now we're going to be removing this cover so we can get to the fuel injector. It's going to be on this side, so we're going to go for number 3, and all the odd ones are on this side. 1, 3, 5, 7, and on this side are all the even ones. So like 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is an 8mm. I'm just going to spin that off. There we go. It also kind of slides out. Once you lift it, it slides out. And the fuel injectors are going to be below this tube. This tube is carrying the fuel. Fuel injectors are below it. And to get that tube out, there is a 10mm right here we're going to remove, and there's one also right in here that we're going to remove, and we'll be able to get to that one. So our injector, let's actually going to be right where my finger is. It's below this rail. That's number 3. You got the odd ones. So number 1 here, number 3. And to get to it, we're going to have to unloosen those, and then we're going to pry this whole tube up toward us so we can release that fuel injector. A bit more room to work. I'm going to remove this so I can get this wiring harness out of the way. So I'm using a 10 millimeter. Just going to take these out and I can lift this plate off. There we go. Spin these out by hand. So we got those screws out. I'm just going to lift this out now. And I have a little bit more ability to move this. It has a little bracket here we're going to loosen. We'll loosen a bracket here to get this out of the way. I'm going to use a standard head screwdriver just to pry this up. So that let go of that part. Just pry this back. I'll do the same down here. Separate those. Now I got a little leeway here. Get this harness a little further out of the way. So I think I'll take out this one too at this 10 millimeter to help lift this out. I just took out this 10 millimeter, spin that out. I'm gonna lift this whole thing out of here. Again, not critical, but just give me a little more room, maybe easier for you guys to see. Okay. All right. That's a little better. See a little better. All right, so we got our 8 millimeter, and we're going to loosen up the fuel rail. All right, so we got our 8 millimeter, and we're going to loosen up the fuel rail. We'll get this one back here, same thing. So just took out those two 8 millimeter screws, and now I'm going to use my standard head screwdriver, pretty big one, to pry up on the fuel rail just to get it to lift so I can switch out the, there you go. Got the rail all loose, get it out of here. A little bit of fuel in there, so we're going to just replace these 3. All right, so we're just going to disconnect these guys, put in the new ones, AC Delco. So you just got to get these clips to come off, and the clips are in from behind. So I'm going to get back behind. I think we just have one that didn't come out yet. Get behind that thing. Just pry it out. Clip out. And now we want to get the injectors out. So I'm going to wiggle this one. Okay, that one came out. New one goes in. Let me get this little clip off first. Push it off. Coat the O-ring just a little bit of oil, the blue and the red one. Not much, just a little bit, make it a little bit slippery. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one in. Twist that one in really easy. Okay, we're going to put the clip in from behind. Okay, I've got that clip all the way in. Get some needle nose pliers. Just going underneath here. See if I can create a leverage point. Yeah, that was a lot easier to gently get that out. We'll do that for the next one too. I'm going underneath like that. That came out, cool. Okay, put in the new ones. Okay, pull off this old clip. I'm sorry, the new clip. Put a little oil on the O-ring. Just a little coating on the blue. A little coating on the red. Okay, push this in now. Push it in, wiggle. That went in very easily. Put the clip in. I have the open side like a bowl pointing up, coming from behind. Sounds like a hungry blue jay behind me. Okay, that one's locked in. Cool. All right, do one more here. Okay. Go ahead and push that in. Twist it. Went in nice and easy. We're going to put the clip in from behind. Again, it's going to point up, comes in directly behind the electrical connector opening, totally opposite of that one. It's a lot easier to do this when you get this rail out where you can see what you're doing. Inside the car you can do it too, but it's definitely harder. Okay, got that clip in. And make sure these are all in nice and tight. Okay, that one's tight. That one's tight. 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 Cool. All right, we can go ahead and put this back in to the car. Get it hooked up. So I'm going to kind of get these facing the right direction to start. The one in the back, that's number 137. 1357, number 7. I'm going to twist it a little bit more to the front because it's kind of hard to get that electrical connector in. So I'm just creating a diagonal, make it easier. Okay, these look good. I'm going to pop them in. Don't know if it shows up on camera, but there's little tiny holes bottom of that injector, and that's what atomizes the gas. So those have to all be clear. I think they just get clogged up over time. Okay, so I'm going to finagle this fuel rail back underneath all these different lines. This underneath here. Get it in the basic position. I'm now lining it up with the holes in the intake manifold. Okay, I've got the rail and the injectors. They're in the manifold, but they're not seated yet. So now I'm going to put downward pressure and wiggle, get these guys to seat in there. So I lubricated them a little bit with some oil and on O-rings, and that went in a lot easier. So that's highly recommended. Just be careful you don't get it on the injector, the metal part of the injector. Okay, now we're going to get a little bit of oil on this O-ring. There's a blue O-ring here. A set of O-rings from Napa Auto Parts, and just need one of these. Kind of expensive though for this kit. It's going to run about maybe 40 bucks. Just coating this with a little bit of motor oil on all the surfaces of the O-ring. Okay, and then put the O-ring back onto the crossover pipe. Get it on over that. Okay, and now we're going to go back in. And we're going to push this crossover pipe back in. If you look on the other side, we can see that it's down in there by about probably a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch. Push this O-ring down in there a little bit first, and then I'll push just using a little pick tool, get it down in there, and then I'll push the crossover pipe further in and help start that O-ring to seat it in. Okay, now it's down in there pretty far. Looks like the other side. So I'll go ahead and put that clip back in and make sure that this thing that in. Get this all hooked back together. Let me go ahead and do the electrical connectors. So I'm going to push this one in and wiggle it and make sure I get a click. Next one. It's in there tight, good. All right, I'm gonna put the EGR hose back on. Took that out to give us some more room. Okay, we got all our connectors on. We're gonna go ahead and tighten down the connectors that hold the fuel rail down. The one in the back goes down, goes over a metal plate first and then goes in. Tighten that up. Tightening up those 8 millimeters that are holding on the fuel rail. Okay, you got front one on medium tight and put on the back one, and then I'll tighten them both down nice and tight. That one's going on nice and tight. Back one for the fuel rail. Let's do the front one, get it tighter. Okay, that's tight. All right. So we're going to leave this a little bit open so we can do an inspection. Just putting this wire harness kind of back where it was. This little nut holding it on to a post right here. Put that nut back on. It's an 8, I think. That's a 10. Okay. All right. Seat these two guys down where they go inside here. There we go. All right, we're going to put the relay back in to we'll pressurize the system to see if we have any leaks. So we go back in here, kind of wiggle it in. Okay, I'll start it up and see how it's going to do. Get back inside, we're going to start it up. Check for leaks. Didn't mess with that connection, but it looks fine, no leak. Idle sounds a little better. Maybe that whole bank, number 3, I know is having trouble. Sounds pretty good, no leaks. All right, we'll do a little reassembly. We're gonna put this one back. Fuse box cover. Yep. So this wire harness has a clip down here. We should re-clip that. That to lock in. That's one here. Re-clip that one. There you go. All right. And let's see, we're going to put this bracket back on here that helps hold this on.
If the video is helping you, please consider pressing down in the lower right hand corner of your screen the subscribe button, and that really helps our channel. Thanks.
Just putting those screws back in. I think these are 10s, I think. So I'm just using the number 10. Tighten up a couple of these little, there's a nut that I took off to get this wiring harness out of the way. If you do, by the way, the even side, if you're looking at your engine, they'd be on the left side. to do the injectors, it'll be a lot easier because there's really not much disassembly. This side's a little harder because you have that in the way. You have your EGR valve in the, or tube in the way. A little more disassembly. Definitely recommend though taking off the whole fuel rail to give you a little bit more view and ease of work rather than replacing maybe just one that's giving you trouble. Maybe just pull the rail and do that whole side. I'll end up probably tomorrow doing this even side, or the left side of the engine, so that all the injectors have been renewed. And again, that's after 20 years, so pretty cool. Before, if you have a stumbling idle and you have a problem with acceleration, rather than replacing the fuel injector, first just put in a can of the fuel injector cleaner into your gas and let it run all the way through. That might do the trick. If the problem persists, you can just check the electrical connector for that one injector. Just wiggle it, make sure it's tight. And if it still persists, then you can do that procedure we did today, replacing. But again, 20 years in, pretty impressive. So this is just this is kind of more of an aesthetic cover, the Vortec cover. That's 8mm. We'll tighten that up. All right, it's tight. Start it up. Nice fast start, good idle, no sign of leaks. All set. You can see on the old injector little holes where the gas comes out and gets atomized. It's kind of clogged up, so even a little bit rusty in there. Watching our video, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance. And also click the little bell notification button so we can send you weekly videos on all the different ways of fixing appliances around your home and saving you lots of money. So thanks again for watching, and please also press the like button for our video if this was helpful to you. Feel free to contact me at the email listed below, which is scottthefixitguy@yahoo.com, with any of your questions. And also, if you need to have a FaceTime meeting with me or a Zoom meeting, you can click on one of the links below in the description, and we can set up a 15-minute or 30-minute video conference where we can work on your appliance problem. So thanks again for all your support and for watching the video.